We don't seem to have your retina scan, your fingerprint, or your colonic map on file.
Yeah, well, I did open the account over 1,000 years ago. What about my ATM card?
Do you still remember your PIN number?
Sure. It's the price of a cheese pizza and a large soda back where I used to work. Panucci's Pizza.
Okay, you had a balance of 93 cents.
All right.
And at an average of 2.25% interest over a period of 1,000 years, that comes to dollars.
Okay, so we got to figure out how much is in that account. We're going to use what's called a compound interest formula. Now, this is just another formula where stuff gets plugged in. You identify the pieces just like before, A, R, that kind of stuff, and you plug it in. This is going to be our calculated amount. That's like Y. This is still your starting amount. Principal means initial. Investment is when you put money in. R is still your rate. And T is still the time. Now this new variable that's in there is N, and what that stands for is how many times a year they give you the money that you've earned. Sometimes they only give you money once a year. Sometimes they give it to you twice a year, and so on, right? So down here I've given you the numbers that you'll put in for N based off of what word you see in the problem. So again, identifying is always that first step. Main thing you're looking for, again, there's a value, a number that says it's invested. That's going to be our P. Interest rate, 10% per year. That's going to be our R. Find the amount in the account after 4 years. That's our T. And then it says compounded. Now that's how you know that this is one of these problems. It says compounded. Compounded means you're going to use this formula here. And then notice the word after that. It says semi-annually. And if you look down here at our list, semi-annually says N equals 2. So I'm going to write down what we know. We know that P, the original amount, right, principal amount, the starting amount, lots of different words for it. Basically, it's going to be the value they give you. So 2,000, parentheses, just copying down my formula over here, 1 plus R. R was, sorry, I should have wrote this down. Let's write everything down before we plug it into the formula. Duh. Right. P was 2,000. R is 10%, but you still have to convert that to a decimal. And then we've got a T given to us of 4. And it says semi-annually, so our N is going to be 2. Okay, now we can just go ahead and plug everything into that formula. So A, capital A, equals P, which is 2,000, parentheses, 1 plus R, but you have to put it as a decimal. That's the number one spot people make a mistake. Divided by N, which we decided was 2, and then up here in the power is going to be 2 times T, which is 4. Now you don't have to simplify that at all. You can plug it directly into the calculator just like that. You'll use these keys. So 2,000, parentheses, 1 plus 0.10, and then the divide symbol, and then 2. Close the parentheses, do that caret sign, right, the little up arrow thing, and then in parentheses do 2 times 4. This is going to be the way you enter it into the calculator. Every single time you will just adjust your numbers based off of what the problem is. So this will be P, this will be R, N, N, and T. But you will pop it in the calculator exactly like that. Whether you use it on Desmos or on the classroom calculators, it doesn't matter. You will enter it exactly like that. Desmos is nice because it bumps it into fractions for you when you hit divide, but the calculator you just enter it in just like that. Okay, so once we calculate that, plugging it in, okay, I get that it's 2,954.91. Now that's money, so we want that decimal place. So this problem, they invested $2,000 for 4 years at that rate, compounded semi-annually. That's how much money they have in the account afterwards. All about plugging those numbers in. Okay, reading through the problem, looking for our key pieces. We need a beginning amount, so that's the number that's here. The percentage means our R. Find the balance after 3 years, there's a T. When the interest is compounded monthly. Okay, our numbers then. Oops. P, our beginning amount is 9,000. R was 1.5%, but we got to change that to a decimal. So I move it 2 to the left. Got to put a 0 in there. All right, we also know that T is going to be 3. And if it says compounded monthly, you can look back at the list, but if you think about it, how many months are in a year? So our N is going to be 12. All right, let's plug it into that formula. A equals capital P, so 9,000. You'll have all these formulas, so you don't have to worry about like memorizing them or anything. Okay, 1 plus, whoops, I forgot my N. 1 plus R, so 0.015 over N, which is 12. And then up in the power is N times 3. Okay, there's the formula. And then if I were to plug it into the calculator, I would hit these keys, 9000 parentheses 1 plus 0.015 divided by 12 parentheses caret, the up arrow thing, new parentheses 12 times 3. Okay, I got 9,011.25. So compared to the last one, that doesn't seem like very much, right? This one, they started at 2,000 and ended up with almost 3,000. But if you compare them, their interest rate was 10% and it was for 1 more year. This guy only had 1.5% and 3 years. So what about this down here? Now it says compounded quarterly. So what do you think? Is that going to give him more or less? Compounded quarterly versus, go up, there it is, versus monthly versus quarterly. Everything else is the same. So I've still got this P, this R. T is still going to be 3. This time though, my N, quarterly, 4 quarters is how I remember that one, but you'll have the list, it doesn't matter. Okay, plugging everything in. A equals 9,000. 1 plus 0.015 divided by 4 now. Up in the power, 4 times 3. Okay, plug it into the calculator. I would hit these keys. 0.015 divided by 4, parentheses, caret, parentheses, 4 times 3. Uh-oh. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. Guess what? I calculated wrong up here. I forgot about the power. I didn't even do the 12 times thing, so I gotta back up. See, nobody's perfect. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. 1 plus 0.015 divided by 12, caret 12 times 3. I think that's the part that I messed up on. So I think we should get a bigger number. Okay, now I get 9,413.99. That seems a little better. Anyway, so now let's go down here and calculate this one. So check this out. Here's what I got for the second calculation. 9,413.49. 6. So that top guy with the 3 years, but it was done monthly versus 3 years done quarterly, the top guy got 50 more cents. That's funny.